Somehow, we have decided that some animals belong on our plates, while others belong on our beds. A cow, chicken, and a pig can be dinner. But a dog? That's family. And here's the strange part. Dogs, cows, pigs, and chickens are all animals that humans domesticated. So who decided which ones became food and which ones became friends? Thousands of years ago, humans didn't have supermarkets. If you wanted meat, you had to find an animal, hunt it, and kill it. Animals weren't categorized as food, pets, or livestock. They were simply animals. But then something changed. Humans began settling down. They started growing crops. They started keeping animals. And slowly some animals became part of human society. This was the beginning of domestication. Dogs appear to have been living alongside humans more than 15,000 years ago, while cattle were domesticated thousands of years later, around 8,000 years ago in some regions. But here's where their paths separated. Imagine an ancient human looking at a wild cow. A cow is big. It produces milk. It eats grass. It can reproduce while living alongside humans, and eventually it can provide meat. So humans had a very practical relationship with cattle. Keep them alive and they keep producing useful things. Milk, leather, labor, and eventually meat. Cattle became something like a living food supply, a walking pantry. Now imagine that same human encountering a wolf. That's a very different situation. A wolf isn't carrying milk. It isn't easy to control, and it certainly isn't going to stand around waiting to be turned into dinner. But some wolves were less afraid of humans. They may have approached camps looking for scraps. Humans tolerated them. The friendlier animals stayed closer, and over many generations that relationship changed. Those animals eventually became dogs. Dogs could help humans hunt. They could guard camps. They could warn people about danger. So instead of becoming food, dogs became partners. And that may have been one of the biggest differences. A cow was valuable because we could use it. A dog was valuable because it could work with us. And once an animal starts working beside you, something interesting happens. You get attached. You give it a name. You recognize its personality. You remember the way it behaves. You start seeing it as an individual, not just a dog, but my dog. And that's where food and friendship begin to separate. But here's the really strange part. There is nothing biologically magical about a cow being food. And there is nothing biologically magical about a dog being a pet. In fact, different societies have drawn the line in completely different places. In some cultures, animals that are considered unacceptable to eat elsewhere may be eaten. And animals that one society considers food can be treated as companions somewhere else. So the question isn't simply, what animals can humans eat? Humans can eat a surprisingly wide range of animals. The real question is, which animals have we decided we should eat? And that decision is influenced by culture, religion, history, geography, economics, and tradition. If everyone around you grows up eating chicken feels like food. If everyone around you grows up treating dogs as family, the idea of eating one can feel horrifying. Not because your brain has performed a scientific calculation, but because you've learned a category, food pet. And once something enters one category, it's surprisingly difficult to move it. Think about it. A pig can be intelligent. A dog can be intelligent. Both can form social bonds. Both can recognize people. Both can experience pain. Yet one might be sitting in a farm while the other is sleeping beside you. The difference isn't simply intelligence. It's the relationship humans have built with them. And this is where things get even more uncomfortable, because sometimes the line can change. Rabbits can be pets. Horses can be companions. Horses have also been eaten in different cultures. Chickens can live in backyards as pets while millions are raised as food. So the boundary isn't actually inside the animal, it's inside us. Humans don't just eat animals. We create stories about them. We give some animals personalities. We give them names. We bury them when they die. And with other animals, we create recipes. The animal hasn't necessarily changed. Our relationship with it has. Some animals are simply better suited to farming. Cows can convert grass and other feed into milk and meat. Sheep can provide wool and meat. Chickens reproduce relatively quickly and provide eggs and meat. Humans didn't just choose animals randomly. Over thousands of years, people selected animals that were useful. animals that were calmer, easier to breed, easier to feed, or better at producing something humans wanted. That selective breeding gradually transformed wild animals into domestic species. So our modern dinner plate is partly an evolutionary history book,